Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beth. And if you are new here, then you might have missed the video I posted a couple years ago now, reviewing the Makeup Revolution and Shrek collaboration. So I will have that video linked for you down below in case you'd like to check it out. But in any case, I am a rather large Shrek fan, I would say. And I was very excited to see the collection that ColourPop put out just recently. So I did pick up the entire collection, so I'll be demoing as much as I can. And towards the end of this video, I will probably talk a little bit about the two collections and which brand I think did it best. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to like and subscribe. I will have timestamps down below if you'd like to jump ahead to a particular part. And without further ado, let's get into this collection. So I would say this is kind of a moderately sized collection compared to some others maybe that ColourPop has done. And I think the Revolution collection might have been larger. They had a couple different iterations of it, so it's difficult to say. But in any case, I'll show you in no particular order. There is the mascara and eyeliner set here. So I do love, it's called Dragon's Keep, I guess. I do love all the artwork and everything that they did on the packaging. I'm not sure how well a red mascara and liner is going to look on me. They have the Glitterly Obsessed Body Glitter Gel. I love that onion kind of carriage design that they have. Ogres are like onions. So I do appreciate the kind of design and thought that went into the packaging. I also love when they do this kind of little cardboard part that comes out. So this is the ColourPop and Shrek Candy Lip Oil. And you have some additional artwork there. Candy flavor. Not my gumdrop buttons. So it's gumdrop buttons, I guess, is the color flavor. We have two of their, I guess, cream blushes. So one we have the Three Pigs, the Wolf, and Pinocchio. So this is lip and cheek balm. And this one is called Fairy Tale Things. And the other one here has Fiona. So again, quality of the packaging is really good. True Love's Form. And then they have four of these ultra glossy lips. So we have Ogre. And these all have different, get out of my swamp, different flavors. So this is the Mud Pie flavor. Again, it says Ogre on the top there. This one is Lord Farquaad, and it says Short Lord. Like so. It says, yes, I know the Muffin Man. Blueberry muffin flavor. I mean, the jokes are there. I have to give them credit for that. And yeah, it says Short Lord on the top. Of course, we have Donkey. And this one says, are we there yet? And then it's waffle flavor. And in the morning, I'm making waffles. Noble Steed. So there's that. And then this one is Ogress, which is the Fiona. That one has a bit of a shimmer, it looks like. Not your typical damsel in distress. Pina colada flavor. And that's her in her kind of human form. So they have the, if you like pina coladas. I gave myself a bit of a Fiona hairstyle, or I try to. And then the actual eyeshadow palette, which probably is like the centerpiece of the collection. It says Beware Ogre. It has the shades on the back there. So it says Layers, Shrek Happens, Better Out Than In, Short Supply, Sir Knight, Gingy, I'm Making Waffles, What the Shrek, Duloc, My Swamp, Grr, That'll Do Donkey, Guarded Castle, Nice Boulder, and Fare Thee Well Ogre. And it looks like this is, yeah, it's meant to look like a book. You have the kind of pages and everything. It would have been nice if, I don't know, they had made that more kind of the design of the packaging, and that is what the inner packaging looks like. That's the outer packaging. We do have some onions on the design on the inside. This one, it has all the shade names, but on this one it has the like shade names with the corresponding colors. This is just shade names, and it has the 3 blind mice down at the bottom. And then you don't get a mirror, but that is what the shades look like with Shrek and Donkey. Have ColourPop palettes had mirrors recently? It has been a minute since I picked up a ColourPop collection, to be honest. So before we get into any of the actual application, I did want to pull out my mirror from the Revolution collection because why not? I feel like this, yeah, voted fairest in the land. I know ColourPop was probably looking at their collection, the Revolution collection, and trying not to copy anything or just do anything too similar. But yeah, it does seem like a shame that we don't have more accessories in this ColourPop collection. I'll talk a little bit more, I guess, about that in depth, but yeah, this would be kind of an obvious thing to have done. Let's go on into this palette, and we do have the names printed on this palette as well. So I already applied eyeshadow primer and set it, but I'm still going to apply this lightest shadow here that says better out than in, if you know the reference. So
Shrek? What? It's a compliment. Better out than in, I always say.
Well, it's no way to behave in front of a princess.
Thanks.
She's as nasty as you are.
So I'm just applying that with a Sigma Large Fluff E50. And I'm not quite sure which direction I want to go in, but this is often the type of shadow I will put down first. I do really like this color story, kind of independent of the IP. So I think I want to lean a little bit more into the muted colors, just because I think those are a little bit more flattering sometimes. So taking a Sonia G Classic Crease, I'm going to go into Short Supply, which is that kind of mauve-y tone there. So I think there is a nice mix of kind of, I guess, warmer and cooler tones. You do get some of those bright green kind of colors. So just adding this in as a transition. I think we do still have some glitters in this palette, which is not really my favorite formulation from them, but I'd have to double check to see what each shade's formula is. To be honest, it's not the easiest mirror to use because it has a relatively small surface area, but then it kind of blocks a lot of the light. But we will persevere. So I'm going to take my little flat definer in that same Short Supply shade. So far, so good. Obviously, I did my foundation first. I actually used the new Natasha Denona foundation. I used the shade N1. So I'll link everything I've used in case you want to check it out, but that's just kind of my first initial application with it. I'm going to go for this green, a little bit more of an olive green. We have that kind of bright green. This one is called My Swamp. The foiling on it makes it a little bit kind of difficult to see. And this is with a mini booster. So I'd say these shades are definitely more buildable, which depending on your preference can be a good or a bad thing. I will say color story wise, I think I prefer this to like the Nomad Salem City palette that they put out in terms of fall color stories. I did purchase that palette and it is on its way to me. So I do plan to film with that eventually. Okay, so taking my classic crease again and going into a little bit more of that mauve-y shade. Just blending. The thing about this color story and this theme is if things look a little muddy at the end, it's kind of on brand. Alrighty, and then I want to take it a little bit darker. I'm trying to think ahead to like what metallics and things I want to use. Alright, I'm going to go in with Nice Boulder. It's kind of a greenish brown, I would say. Looks like I am getting some fallout. So just going in again on top, just kind of bringing in more of that mauve shade to keep blending. Like so. So let's go in with some of these more metallic shades. So on the website, it says there's 4 finishes: matte, which are pretty obvious, metallic, super shock, and pearlescent glitter. I wish it told you which is which, because that sometimes dictates like how you apply things. All right, so I'm just going to swatch some of these on my hand, I guess. So this one is Cernite. Looks like it has a bit of a duochrome. We have I'm Making Waffles. A bit more gold. This one's more of a bright green. I don't think I'll be using that one. This one is Duloc. That one feels like a glitter. Ooh, that is super blinding though. I mean, if you use a glitter glue, it might not be a big deal. And then the other 2 are Grr and Fare Thee Well Ogre. So I think it's just one that is like a straight up glitter maybe. And there was one more metallic I didn't swatch, which is more of kind of an icy, that one is the Layers, kind of an icy silver. Although it has a little bit more of kind of a translucent base to it. So I am going to go in with Grr, which is that one right there. And this is a Rephr 28. It does pick up a bit, so you might want to be careful. I'm going to kind of tap some of that off on my hand just so I don't get too much fallout. So I'm just going to start, I think, applying this all over the lid just to have kind of a base color. All right, and then I think I want to take some of that duochrome shade, which is called Cernite, and I'm actually going to apply that with my finger. I'm not sure if this is a super shock shade. It might be. So I'm just going to tap that just to give it a little bit more kind of dimension, like so. And again, still have some fallout. So I think I might leave it there. I have to say, I'm not like over the moon about this eye look. I feel like my rule of thumb with color is to go with a more monochromatic look because it just tends to come out a little bit better. I, again, do like the look of this palette, like color story wise, but in practice, it seems a little bit more difficult, at least when you start to combine colors. I'm going to take some of Layers, speaking of combining, and this is a Rephr 26 brush. So I'm just going to put some of that on the inner corner. I think I'm going to leave it there because we do have some other color to put on the eye. Before we get to that though, let's go ahead and apply some of the gumdrop buttons here, which I think is it taped shut? It is. So this is what the inside looks like, and I think those little balls are just, I don't know if they're silicone or what, but I think they're just kind of there for decoration. So this is one of those kind of rolling lip oil, lip glosses type thing. It's pretty thin. I think it smells fruity, which I guess would make sense as a gumdrop scent. So kind of like fruity candy, I guess, more so than like, I don't know, cupcakes or whatever, vanilla. Yeah, so this is a lip oil. It says it has jojoba oil, sweet almond oil, vitamin E, and does it say what the scent, just is candy flavored. So yeah, so I think this is more of a novelty than anything else, but it's cute. Where's the dragon? Let's go ahead and go into this guy. So this is the Dragon's Keep Volumizing Mascara and Gel Liner, which is actually a bit of a relief because I thought it was going to be a liquid liner, which is not my favorite. So it does have branding on the component as well, and that is going to be the style of liner there. So let's go ahead and pop this on. It's not, I thought it was going to be, it's more of a duochrome kind of burgundy. So I think, thankfully, it actually looks better than I thought it would. I have to say, I prefer a sharpenable kind of gel pencil, but this one is, it's almost too creamy. And I think with the shadow and things that I already applied, it's not quite as obvious. Just trying to draw what I already applied more into a wing. So yeah, I think this is actually more wearable than I thought it would be. Sometimes you have to be careful applying something too red on the eyes. And this is a little BK208 brush that I like to use with liner. And to the extent I need to like sharpen anything up, I just get one of these guys. I feel like there's usually one that I end up liking better than the other. All right, so this mascara here, I think this is actually a red, or at least a burgundy mascara. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more subtle on the lashes. So I always start off by curling my lashes. So I can't recall if I've tried this mascara again. I think they have this in their normal line. This is the volumizing mascara. I think it's just the color that is limited edition. So I do like a volumizing formula. Normally I do go for a waterproof just to help the curl stay in place, but if you don't have that issue and you like a volumizing mascara, you might like this one. Again, this is a brand new tube, so if you want a really kind of defined lash, this might not be your favorite because it is like a thicker formula. But color-wise, it's kind of nice because it's a little bit different, a little bit softer than black. I think depending on your eye color, it can help. I think certain eye colors pop according to like color theory or whatever, but it doesn't look super obviously red. Let me swatch some of this on my hand. Yeah, so it's that kind of dark cherry color. Like if you really wanted this specific color to pop, you'd probably want to go in with like a white primer first and then apply this so that it has that kind of white base to go off of. But yeah, I think this little set is a little bit more wearable and not quite as scary as I first thought it was. So that's good. Speaking of scary, I guess, we have the Glitterly Obsessed Body Glitter Gel. And I think they say body glitter gel specifically because you're not supposed to put this on the eyes. I think ColourPop almost used this as glitter freckles, so maybe I'll try that in a minute. So let's go ahead and go into these two cream blushes here. I don't know that I've tried this formula from them. So it is very cute, the component. So it has this kind of colored plastic with the Shrek logo, and it's just a plastic that kind of clips open and closed. So this is True Love's Form, some pink there. And then this one is Fairy Tale Things. So this one is a little bit deeper. Part of me is actually glad that they didn't include any kind of special embossing on, I guess you wouldn't do that with a cream blush, but on any of the products really, but like the eyeshadows, because I always have a hard time disrupting embossing. So I'm gonna go in with that darker shade a little bit on the kind of back parts of my cheek. And I did already powder my base. So we'll see how this kind of goes on over that. So cream blushes, in terms of the pigment level, tend to be a little bit more forgiving. So I think because they're a little bit more translucent, you can get away with a darker color than you might think just looking at the pan. So that's pretty. And yeah, I just like to kind of tap in this type of blush formula generally. I think applying over a set base will help them, in my opinion, be a little bit more long-lasting and impactful in terms of the pigment. If you blend them into other creams and liquids, I think they tend to kind of disperse a little bit more, especially if you're going to be setting your face after with powder. So that's pretty. I mean, it's a cream blush. If you have tried their formula and you like it, or you just like this type of cream blush formula generally, I think it's the same vein as like the Tower 28 cream blushes, or the ones from Moira, or I think Milani. So kind of that older, kind of more emollient formula. So I guess we just have the glitter and then the lip oils. So why not? I'll go ahead and apply this. I do like that they have the Shrek S on the cap here. And yeah, it says, keep me to lock the magic in. So you want to keep this little insert. If I get this open. So I might start off with just picking up, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a goo. If you've never tried this type of product before. I picked it up a few times in various collections, and does this have a scent? I think for sure the Hocus Pocus collection had one of these. Both of them might have. But I think doing it on the cheeks like that is kind of a cute look. Again, kind of mimics the effect of those like appliques that deposit glitter freckles. I'm not sure which is like more economical or whatever, but yeah, I think that's kind of cute. Something different for sure. I'm pretty sure this has a scent. So it says it has a fragrance, but I don't see where it says what that fragrance is. All right, so whatever residual. And I think these, they say are, yeah, lip and cheek balm. So you could also apply these to the lips as well. Because I have all these different lip oils to try, I'm going to forgo that. So I'm going to try to go in order from, I guess, least to most pigment. So the first one here is the Ogre, which is mud pie flavor. So I don't know that I've tried this formula from ColourPop before. Again, the S on the top there. Good old Shrek. So Let's see what this one is like. I think this is supposed to be chocolate, is what would make sense to me anyway. Definitely has kind of a decent payoff there. I can feel the glitter particles though. So if you're willing to kind of put up with that, it says it's a clear opal with golden, silver, and green pearl. Chocolate mud pie flavor, yeah. Infused with hyaluronic acid, plum, kakadu, and sweet cherry oil. So this one is Ogre. I feel like some of that shimmer is going to stick around no matter what I do. Okay, so let's go in with Donkey's waffle flavor. I don't know if that means maple. So this looks like a pretty mauve cream. And again, just know that this one, I don't think has any shimmer, but you know, I'm going to have glitter on my face for like 3 days now. So this is the waffle, or Noble Steed. What do they actually call this? Yeah, Noble Steed. This one is very subtle. Like, it's not totally in your face. I think this is definitely a color I would wear pretty frequently. Like, it's a very My Lips But Better. Very pretty, nice, comfortable formula. So far, if you were interested in getting one of these, I would say definitely go with Noble Steed. And if you're not totally in love with like super gourmand scents, I think, again, it's pretty subtle. I can hardly detect anything. Okay, so that is Noble Steed. All right, so next up, I'll do the other cream one and then land with the other kind of shimmery one. So this one is the Short Lord. It's the blueberry muffin flavor. All right, so this one is a little bit more of a pinky color. And this one's definitely more kind of blueberry muffin. Like, I can definitely detect that. Very pigmented. I'd say this one is nice. I like the color. I just think on my skin tone, it's going to be one that I would want to pair with a lip liner, because otherwise I think it can get a little messy. That is Short Lord. All right, and then last one here is the Ogress. And this one, it's more of a pearl, I would say. What is this one? Pina Colada. Okay, yeah, I definitely get that. So I feel like a coconut. This one's actually very kind of easygoing as well. So if I had to recommend any of them, I think Ogre would be my least favorite. And then just in terms of wearability for this type of formula, I definitely like Donkey and Ogress the best. Slight preference maybe towards Donkey, although, I mean, this is nice. And then this one, Short Lord, again, just a little bit more kind of care would be required for that. Is that everything? I think it is. So in terms of kind of my final thoughts about this collection and kind of the up or down on all of the items, the eyeshadow palette, it depends whether you're a Shrek collector, I guess, or not. Like, I do like the color story, but I don't know that the performance of these shadows is so remarkable that I feel like you need to buy it, to be honest. I'll have to play around with it a little bit more, but I feel like this is not going to necessarily be a palette I reach for on a daily basis. So, you know, I had fun playing around with it, and I definitely appreciate the names and everything, but I don't know that it's so amazing that I would recommend that you buy it, even if you're not a fan of Shrek generally. The cream blushes were nice, but you can get these from a lot of different brands, so in that case, this packaging might be a turnoff for you. But they are pretty on the cheek. So again, if you just want to pick up something fun that you will use, and you know, you like the colors and everything, then I'd say go for it. The liner and mascara, I think, were probably the biggest surprises for me because I had the lowest expectations. But I would say, you know, it's a nice alternative to a black or a brown in terms of the color. And if you do want, I know a lot of different brands are doing kind of colored mascaras now. Like I think Maybelline does a bunch. But if you like this formula from ColourPop and you want to try out a fun color, then that could be good. And I think the liner is also pretty wearable as well. Like it has a little bit of something to it, but it's not so kind of outrageous that you won't be able to use it very often. So might be worth looking into. The glitter is just kind of fun. Like if you want something to wear going out or for Halloween coming up. If you already have one of these from a previous collection, I don't know that this particular shade or whatever is going to be that remarkable for you. And the lip oils, I kind of already gave you my thoughts on. Again, if you like this formula, then you might enjoy picking up some of these shades. I don't recommend this one necessarily unless you just really want that specific look. But again, if you want something more wearable, I would say these two are probably my favorites. If you have a deeper skin tone, this might be a better kind of everyday match for you. So again, it's kind of like, do you like Shrek? Do you like the novelty of it? Kind of thing. This Gingy lip oil, again, I would say I really only recommend if you are a Shrek collector. I would say if you're kind of indifferent or whatever, I would probably recommend one of these guys over this, unless you just really like looking at the little silicone beads or whatever is in there. So again, that's kind of how I feel about this collection. I will say as a general matter, the formulas of ColourPop compared to like Makeup Revolution, I say ColourPop is a little bit better in general, and I think there are some products here that I can see myself using in the kind of normal course of makeup business. Makeup Revolution, and again, I will link that video if you want to check it out. They did have the cool accessories, which I really do appreciate. So let me kind of run through what I have from their collection. The mirror is great. They had this Shrek headband, which I don't think I could ever get to stay on my head, probably because it's made for a child and not an adult. But it was the I'm all ears headband, the little Shrek ears. They also came out with a second collection, I think around the holidays, that had more items. Like I think they had maybe a Fiona headband and a donkey headband as well, which was kind of fun. They had the Gingy highlighter here, which was actually in a tin. I think one of these was broken. No, this one's okay. So yeah, so that was really kind of fun and different. This shade of highlighter is not something that is going to work very well on my skin tone, but it is a very cute little tin there. We also had the, what were you called? This was an eyeshadow palette that had the lenticular motion on it. I don't know what it was called, but yeah, it had the lenticular, you can see Fiona going back and forth between Fiona and human Fiona. And then this was the Color Story. Had a mirror, a plastic case. So again, shade or color story wise, like not really my favorite, but had a design to it. I don't think I actually used this one. We did have these small palettes, and again, I don't think I picked up the entire collection. Love this one. I think this was from maybe the second movie, so this is Puss in Boots. It will be interesting to see if ColourPop does a second Shrek collection. So super adorable. And then these had, it says Wanna Cuddle. And those were the shades. It had the embossing with the P for Puss in Boots. The shade names here were Fear Me, Dare, Guitar, and Boots. And then it had on the bottom Outlaw, Catnip, Cuddle, and Furball. And then of course Donkey. This one says, it even had a little dragon on the back there. I don't know if I checked this one. Oh yeah, this one had the 3 mice. This one I think I used. It says, and in the morning I'm making waffles. And then those were the shades. It had the donkey on the matte shade. So it says, Noble Steed, Waffles, On the Edge, Boulder, and then it says About Right, Me, Lady Dragon, and Sidekick. So that was the Donkey palette. And then I think the only other thing from the kind of main collection, there were 3 lip products. So we had the Donkey lipstick. So these components weren't anything like super amazing. It says I'm a donkey on the edge. I do appreciate that, you know, it looks like they had people who actually appreciated the movie. It just had that kind of foiling effect, and yeah, that kind of cream shade there. And then of course we have the dragon, and it says just reeking of feminine beauty. And then that is what that one looks like, and more of a red shade. And then I think one of the few instances in which a pH adapting lip product is called for is the Fiona lip balm. So it has the F on the top, and then it has, let's see, but she was possessed with a terrible curse. By day, a lovely princess. By night, a hideous ogre. And this one had some nice kind of design elements to it. It's still kind of cheap plastic. And you can see where I guess swatched it and it turned colors. So this turns pink, but it's green initially. So those were the products from the main collection I picked up. And then they also had an advent calendar. So there was a huge Gingy tin that I had to pick up, kind of mirroring this tinier one. And I did film, I guess, an unboxing. Those were all the actual boxes inside. This was a 12 piece advent calendar. But obviously I held on to the tin, and I still like to take it out around the holidays for decorations. So yeah, so I think ColourPop did a decent job with this collection. I'm kind of hoping they come out with some other things that are a little bit more fun. One thing that was in the advent calendar I should mention, they had a little gumdrop button shaped sponge, beauty sponge. So that's the kind of thing that I guess ColourPop could have done. Although, again, I recognize that they don't want to like reinvent the wheel kind of things. So I'd say if you're a Shrek fan, I think there are definitely products that you can pick up that you will be able to use. I think there are some items just in the novelty realm that you probably want to steer clear of, unless you just want to buy them for the collector's aspect, I guess. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.